All right, guys, welcome to the Screenwriters Workshop. Today we're going to be looking at the screenwriting tool of choice, Final Draft. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because I felt that it's important that you understand tools play a major factor in the ability to execute whatever it is that you're working on. I never will ever advocate for the idea that the tools make the craft or make the arts form that you're doing. So whether it's a pencil for a graphic artist or a scalpel for a sculptor, it's the artist's inspiration that defines what it is that they're going to make. But regardless, the quality of your tools can make a big difference. Now, there are many options for screenwriting software. For myself, the first time that I used screenwriting software was not actual software at all. The assistant director for my first ever movie that I made when I was in university was sort of a script that he wrote for Word for Windows, where the script mimicked what a screenplay should look like. And he gave me the instructions of how to use it and so on and so forth. And it was actually relatively effective. He just made it do the features of a screenplay. Now, obviously, since then, I've purchased and gotten actual screenwriting software. And Final Draft was one of the first that I ever used. And I've been using it ever since. And that's 20 years now of using the same piece of software. I wanted to highlight this for you and give you a quick overview of getting the software and how I use it on a very, very basic level. Of course, there are a lot of different features, but I'll just show you the basics to get you up and running, which will help you as you go through the videos or the course if you're part of the course and the community at the screenwritersworkshop.net. You can join that. We use Final Draft as a basis for everything that we do over there. So the first thing is that you go to finaldraft.com, as you can see on the screen, and you have options here of whether you are going to buy it or upgrade. If you already have Final Draft, you can upgrade to the latest version, which is cheaper than getting a new version. It's now on Final Draft 13. I'm on 12 at the moment. The differences are not massive, but if you want to have the latest version or if you're getting it for the first time, you would be getting Final Draft 13. So you would click on buy now and it will take you to the screen to purchase. So it's obviously being reduced. So they're obviously doing some kind of promotion. So it's usually $250 and it's been reduced to $200. Now, when you see this, your initial reaction is that, oh my goodness, that is very, very expensive. Like $250 or $200 on a piece of software. Guys, this is nothing compared to what this program can do if you are serious about screenwriting. If screenwriting is something that you're not really that serious about and you want to test it out and just see if it's something you want to do, there are many other screenwriting software that is out there that is free. So there's pieces of screenwriting software that you can get for absolutely free, test it out, and you can use those to see if you're into screenwriting or not. Final Draft is categorically for people who want to take this seriously, for people who view this as potentially a career move, or even if it's not a career move, you want to have this industry standard software at your fingertips that does everything for you. Okay? So if you already have it, like I said, you can upgrade. And when you upgrade, it just gives you all the newest features and so on and so forth. So here are the requirements of the minimum. So for Apple, you need to have Apple Mac OS 12 Monterey or higher, Windows 10 or higher, Intel or AMD, and it's not available on Chromebook. As they say, it's the industry standard, and 95% of the industry, I do not doubt that claim. Honestly, I do not know any writers in the writing community who do not use Final Draft. It would make it very challenging for you if you're working professionally to be on something outside Final Draft because of whether or not it is compatible with what everybody else is using. People are used to seeing it, used to editing with it, used to receiving material with it, and used to collaborating with that software. So that being said, now what I'm going to do is just show you our Final Draft and give you a quick overview of how I get started using the software. All right, guys, so this is your screen when you open up Final Draft. Very intimidating screen. You know, if you're new to screenwriting, it is incredibly scary to see white space, to see that blank page, the beginning. Even as a person who's been writing scripts now for over 20 years, you know, I started it's easily over 20 years now. I'm still anxious when I see this page. And a lot of the work that we do in the Screenwriters Workshop is about making you less anxious when you see this. Like, I still have anxiety, but it is so much less than it used to be when I first started, because of a lot of the systems and practices that I do in preparation for getting to this level, to getting to this page. So whereas a lot of people would open up your Final Draft application immediately that they want to write a script, I implore you that it's important for you to watch all the other videos and to familiarize yourself with a lot of the things I talk about in terms of preparation for writing your screenplay, so that this literally is the last thing you do, turning on Final Draft. You've already done a hell of a lot of work beforehand before you actually turn on the program. But when you turn on the program, it's a familiar screen that you will see. And what you would usually want to do is start a new project. So this project is already open as a screenplay, but what I do is that I've set it to the template I use. So I'll just do a template. So you go start from template and you get all of these options. This is where Final Draft really shines. Typically, when you're using other things, you have to figure out what the script style is, what TV is, what the graphic novel is. If you just want to do a text file, you know, the structure, telling you what the structures are. My templates are where you actually create your own custom templates as well. But them giving this to you, I can't tell you how much easier this makes your life in terms of making sure that whatever template you're using adheres to exactly what it is that you want to be doing. So what I always do is that you could use this. If you're doing a TV script, you could use a specific TV script. I don't do that. I even look at all of these. So you've got screenplay, call and hag. That's a particular type of style. Warner Brothers, basic screenplay. And then you've got stage play. And you've got all of these different kinds of screenplays for different languages and so forth. Guys, to make your life easier, choose screenplay, okay? Don't get fancy with it. Don't start thinking about other things. Just use screenplay. This covers everything. This is the one that I use. And you click new and it starts up a screenplay for you. I widen the screen and I'm going through these are the steps that I take. I'm telling you exactly what I do. And once I go here, you have these options at the bottom of your screen, which is the zoom of how your screen zooms. So you see it's 100% now, and you can go to 150, 175, and 200, which is almost the whole screen, and 250, which fills the whole screen. I regularly go to 150 if I'm using this page view, but there are a bunch of views that you can use. So if you go up to the top of your screen and you have options, which you can't see on the screen here, but at the top of your screen, you will have options next to the Final Draft text. You click on view and you have the different views you can use. Now, I use this page view from time to time, but it depends on how I'm feeling. Normal view fills up your entire screen. Sometimes when I really want to focus, I use this view, okay? So it depends on what you feel comfortable with. And when I use this view, putting it on 150% is really affecting the size of the text that you see on screen. So you see the text gets bigger. When I go to 300% and I go all the way to 75%, it's tiny. So that, again, depends on how you want to view things. I love it at 150, and in the normal view is what I use now. I used to use page view, but as I got more professional with things and I wanted to focus more, I've started using the normal view. What you can also do, which is very handy. So let's just do a text here. So we'll do interior, main house, day, and we'll say house sits on a quiet street and man, 20s, black, suit and tie. Okay. And he steps out of the house, steps out of the front door, stretches, and ... and exclaims with a scream, "Man, what a beautiful morning." Okay, so I just wanted to put some stuff on screen so that we can actually start looking at certain things. So as I said, the slider here at the bottom right is for the magnification. So it depends on, how big you want the screen to be. On the bottom right as well, you have night mode. I'm not a big fan of night mode because, again, I feel like it makes everything very dark and gloomy, but some people like this for focus reasons. Depending on your eyesight as well, it might be easier on the eyes because when it's day, the day view or the white view, it's actually very bright on the screen sometimes, but I like this. So you can decide on how you want to do that. And then next to that, you have focus mode. And on focus mode, this is what I use now if I want to really be serious for a certain period of time. So you hit focus mode, everything on the screen disappears. So I don't know if you can see that on your screen, but when you hit focus mode, everything disappears and all you can see on your screen is the script. This is very handy, especially if you use this in combination with focus on your computer, if you're on a Mac, where you mute all alerts, all phone calls, emails, pings, all kind of messages, and then you use this focus mode. It is very, very useful. It is actually amazing how even an email ping can throw you off focus when you're trying to write and do a screenplay. It's unbelievable what little things can do. So using this feature is very handy, and it's something that didn't used to exist in Final Draft, but does now. The dictation I do not use. I don't advise you to use it. It isn't something that I believe is beneficial when you're developing your writing, just talking and telling it what to do. I think it's very helpful for you to actually write the script and do the work with your physically, as opposed to just talking. I've never really used dictation before in this program, so I can't really speak to it or how useful it is. It's just not something I've used. Next to that, you have sprint timer. Now, this is something, again, that I started using recently, which I find very useful. And what it is that you can set a sprint time, which is essentially a timer that you want to create a certain amount of text in that time. So let's say, oh, you know what? I'm losing focus, I'm losing time, and I want to spend the next 25 minutes, and which is the default that they set. And within that time, I want to see either how much of the script I can get written, or I want to finish this scene within 25 minutes. Or I want to do 4 pages or 2 pages within 25 minutes. Once you do that, you hit the timer, it starts, the timer has begun, and you just start writing. And when the timer ends, it alerts you that the timer is over, and you just see how far you did, whether you hit the targets or not. You can pause the timer at any time, restart it, and so forth, and you can end the sprint at any time if you want right there. So guys, those are the basics that I use. I don't really mess about with too much more other than, and I'll show you this, index card. So when you go to view, this is a little bit more advanced, so I won't talk too much about this here. I will talk to you about it if you're in the community, www.thescreenwritersworkshop.net. I will talk to you about this because this is extremely powerful, and I'll show you. So you have index cards that you would usually use physically, but they've done it digitally in this program. And you can decide on how many cards across you have. Now, because I only have a single page, I don't have much, there will only be one index card. And you see it's got one index card, interior main house, which mirrors what I wrote for that scene. Now, imagine if you have 100 scenes, 50 scenes, 90 scenes, whatever it is, an entire script. Your entire screen here would be covered with index cards. Now, the beauty of the index cards is that you can then move around scenes without cutting and pasting within the script. Guys, honestly, for somebody who started with screenwriting software 20 years ago, this is incredibly helpful because you literally, if you wanted to move scenes, had to cut, paste, remember where a particular scene was, edit, remove, delete, all of that sort of stuff. This makes it super easy. And it's the same as if you put all the index cards on a table and you moved scenes around, which is the way we used to do it, by physically writing them on index cards and moving them around on the floor or on a table. This does it for you. As I said, you can then, when you have a lot of scenes, you can go to view again and go to the cards across and decide on how many index cards per row you want to show. So when you have a lot of index cards, you see this is just one here. And when you have a lot of these, you then want to decide on how many per row you're going to have. So I usually go 5. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 5 in a row. And that just does it all the way across and down the page. And you can scroll and then move scenes around. Again, incredible tool. Absolutely incredible. If you want to go back to your regular view, you go back to the view section and you click normal and you're back in the regular view. So guys, those are the basics. There are a bunch of other tools you can have. So you see up here, you've got Beatboard, you've got Split, you've got different views, which is the same as what I told you, but you can do it from here instead of going to View. I use View. Your title page, track changes, there's so much, but I do not want to use that here because I just wanted to get you started. In future videos, oops. Okay, this is another feature. I'm glad that this actually came up. It prompts you to autosave. So I clicked save there. If you've not saved your work, it prompts you to autosave, which is a great handy thing to have as well. Once you've saved it there, it then does it automatically for you, so you don't have to keep doing it. But because I had not saved the script to begin with, it makes sure that you do that so that you don't close it down without saving your work. That's the basics for Final Draft. That's how you get started. In future videos and classes, I will explain all these other tools to you that are important that I use from time to time. Collaboration is another one that is very useful as well. I will talk to you about that. But that is the end of this particular installment. If you have any questions, definitely send me your comments, write your comments down, and I will try to answer them as and when I am able. Or if I'm able. As I said, if you want to further your education or knowledge on these tips and tricks on the software or other aspects of the screenwriting process with a view to becoming a professional and making a living doing this, which I have been for 15 years now, you know, check out the Screenwriters Workshop, the screenwritersworkshop.net. Link is in the description. And thank you. Cheers.